Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ljs Garage. Things are a little bit different today because I'm sitting next to a BMW and a Toyota. And yes, if you're gonna make the Toyota, what Toyota joke, is that a BMW? Is that a Supra?
Yo, is that a Supra?
Well, yes, it's all of those things. And I'm gonna show you today why I think the Toyota Supra is one of the best sports cars on the market. And if you disagree, well, let me know. I'm here to talk cars. So if you like cars, if you like all this good stuff, stay tuned for a whole lot more. And as far as driving experience goes, this one has some modifications done to it. I've got Randy here today, and we're gonna do a little bit of a driving video, but that's a separate video for another day. So today, I'm just gonna show you guys a quick little walk around of this car, talk about some specs, features, things that you might not know if you've been on the market for one of these, and explain why I think this deserves way more love than it actually gets.
Nice little startup.
Alright, so the first thing that I want to talk about is that if Toyota made the 2JZ version of this in the year 2020, 2022, whatever it is, 2020 is the first year of the Supra, but let's say they did make the 2JZ version. Do you know how much that would cost? So the Z4 costs $65,000 starting price, and that's with really not much options. So if Toyota decided to make a brand new sports car, do the 2JZ, do all of that, you'd be paying a lot for a Supra. So the way that they decided to cut that cost was to partner with BMW. BMW wanted to make something that was a roadster, a grand tour type, kind of like the M6, something along those lines, while Toyota decided they wanted to go up against the Porsche Cayman. A lot of people like to compare this to the Nissan Z, and it really isn't in competition with the Z. Just like the GTR has gone upscale and become a $100,000 car, now the Supra is taking that $60,000, $50,000 sweet spot. And then the Z is going to be 40 to 50. And so yes, there is a little bit of an overlap, but really the Toyota Supra isn't going after that. Toyota designed this to be something that is a street machine, and you know, they call it a street monster. I don't really know what that means, but that's what they wanted the Supra to be. Something that you can take on the track as a little track weapon, but also something that you could do maybe some spirited driving on normal roads, some highway rolling, some highway roll racing, you might say, if you were one to do any sort of speed racing type of things. So the cool thing with the Supra is it comes in 4 different trims. So you've got the base trim, the 2.0, which is going to be a 4-cylinder turbo, which is going to be the B48. So we'll talk about engines and specs and all that good stuff later on. But for now, that's what you're going to get. A 2-liter, 255 horsepower, 4-cylinder turbo. Easy enough, right? But then you go up to the 3.0, and that's the 3.0 base. Then you've got the 3.0 premium, and that's going to give you some nicer options and, you know, some more goodies, some bells and whistles, stuff that not everyone needs, but it makes the Supra a lot more dailyable. It gives it the creature comforts, you know, more premium feel. And then you've got the A91 Special Edition. We won't talk about that today. This one is going to be a 3.0 premium. And so we're going to dive into this one and talk about some more of these goodies. Alright, so let's talk specs. Under the hood of this is going to be a 3-liter inline 6. It's a single turbo that makes 382 horsepower and around 368 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 is 3.9 seconds. And on top of that, this will do the quarter mile in 12.1, 12.2 seconds on street tires, with a trap speed of somewhere around 117, which is pretty dang good if you ask me. I guess this would be a good point to say, if you're one of those people who thinks that this BMW-Toyota partnership is a horrible mistake, I'm sorry, I disagree. I love Toyota, I love BMW. I think BMW makes some of the best sports cars on the market, and yes, I'm a little biased because I do drive an M3, but when I tell you, after driving this and the M3 back to back, I realize that the M3 is a whole different machine. It doesn't feel like this has lost its JDM soul that a lot of people swear up and down that it has. It does have the turbo noises. It still feels like a true, you know, turbocharged, I don't know what you'd call it. It just feels raw. It feels like a JDM car. And yes, it isn't a 2JZ and it's a B58, but they're one and the same. And yes, I know people are going to say, you could say that, but at the end of the day, when people LS swap cars, nobody gets upset. If you put a Ferrari engine in an FRS, people think that's cool. But you put a BMW motor in a Toyota, and all of a sudden everyone's upset. I know, I'm biased. I love BMW. But even if I wasn't biased, I'm a car guy. I love being able to have a car like this for the price point that it comes in at. If you did buy one of these in 2020, unfortunately the horsepower rating on that is a little bit less. It's only 332 horsepower. I have a feeling that over the years, BMW and Toyota have already figured out how they're going to make this car better every single year. And now that we have the manual offering, I'm pretty sure that next year, what's going to happen is we're going to get a Targa version of this. Just a hunch. I have a feeling. And I mean, that would be it. Targa version with a manual. I mean, that's my perfect car right there. The M3 would be gone.
Like I said earlier, there's going to be 2 BMWs here. Haha, haha. All right, now that we've got that joke out of the way, let's talk Supra. You can see this is a 4-door, that's a 2-door. This has no back seats, this has back seats. There's just something different about this. This is clearly a BMW. The styling, the looks, everything about this is all Supra. And yes, I know that the Supra. I know that the Z4 looks very similar to this because of the platform that they sit on, but at the end of the day, look up here. This is a gorgeous looking car. There's no angles about this that I don't like. Even this little roof bump, and yes, Toyota did that to make sure you can get your little race helmet in there, because it is cramped. I will show you that in a little bit. It's a small car, but it is powerful.
Not only is this thing designed to perform very well in a straight line, Toyota and BMW have worked together to make this one of the best handling cars on the market. On top of having an electronically controlled limited slip differential, there's all sorts of other variable transmission options and tuning and suspension settings that you could get into that make this even more fun to drive. And not only that, this car, it makes even the most average driver feel like the best driver when it comes to taking it on the track, which I guess some people would say is a bad thing, right? You know, you have a car that has all these electronics that take away from the pure driving experience. Well, guess what? Turn them off. And then just enjoy the car for what it is. It is tail happy. It feels just like a little baby Corvette when it comes to handling. And even the Corvette, I would say nowadays, doesn't feel quite the same as what a C5 used to be. But at the end of the day, it's 2022. Electronics are part of the car market. It's just part of how things are. So we have to adapt. We have to overcome and just get used to it. If Toyota decided they didn't want to make this car, they didn't have to, but they wanted to give us car folks something to brag about, something to, you know, move on to electric cars that give us one little send-off, and I think this is a nice little treat. So if you can love the BRZ and the FRS for what they are, then I feel like you should love this. Okay, that's what I thought. I've heard people write, I see MK4, but I think everyone calls it Mark. Something else that I want to point out is that as far as weight goes, this only weighs around 33 to 3,400 pounds, which is 100 pounds lighter than the previous generation Supra. And on top of that, this is a small car. It doesn't look like it from pictures, but when you get close up and personal to it, or when you get up and when you get up close and personal to this, you'll realize that the 3-4 inches shorter when you get up close and personal, you'll realize that the 3 to 4 inch difference that this has over the previous generation Supra is actually pretty noticeable. So this is actually shorter wheelbase wise, and it's lighter. So Toyota brags about the power to weight ratio on this, right? It's 8.8, so let's call it 9 is the power to weight ratio on this. So let's talk about the scale of the Supra. On the low end, you have 43,000, that's the 2.0. At the top end, manual transmission 3.0, that's going to run you about $58,000, which is crazy. That's actually a bargain in my mind. The Porsche Cayman starts at about $63,000, so you're already saving a good amount. The Porsche Cayman base model 0 to 60 is 4 seconds. So this is still beating that at 3.9, which we know that it's not all about straight line performance. There's other things that go into that, but that's still pretty impressive. And then the last thing to talk about is if you're someone who cares about the environment, you're going to get about 23 city and about 31 miles per gallon on the highway in this, and that's if you're driving slow. Most times you're going to get around 26 combined, but that doesn't sound fun. We care about miles per gallon over here. Now that we've got all that out of the way, I'm going to take you guys on a quick walk around tour of this, hop on the inside, show you a couple features, and then if you want to, you can check out the video that I did with Randy. We take this thing for a spin. I get to drive it, he gets to drive it, he shows me how fun it is, and we talk a little bit about cars and specifically the Supra and just why we love it and why we think this is worthwhile. So if you're curious and want to know the full driving experience, be sure to check out that video. Otherwise, let's go.
Let me know if you guys like them. I think this looks sharp from back here. My favorite view from this car, though, is this shot. I think that right there is the money shot. And then back here, you're going to see this GR badge. If you're not familiar with these, that stands for Gazoo Racing. The Gazoo Racing family is pretty awesome with the GR86, the Supra, and then soon to be the Yaris, or in other markets, the Corolla, are fantastic. This is stunning. I mean, come on. You got dual exhaust, this pretty cool diffuser.
Yeah.
So I just learned, I thought this was a third brake light. It's actually a reverse light, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, this is the back of the Supra. She thick. Look at those hips. Girl, if you don't stop playing, look at those hips. But I like the back of this. I'll have Randy pop the trunk in a little bit so I can show you guys what it looks like back there. But otherwise, this is it. Oh, there's no handle at all.
There is to
here.
lower it, but not to raise it.
Gotcha.
So getting fingerprints on your car, if it bothers you, that's, you know.
Luckily, the
that's
white doesn't show as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only downside to this opening is it's narrow. So even though this is a hatchback and you have all this space back here that you could use, you have to find things that fit this opening. So it's limited by design, but you know, if you look at this car, you've got all of this cutting off the space that you could use. Whereas like if you look at the Z, again, I'm doing what everybody does, but if you look at the Z's hatchback, it's meant for using it for stuff, but this is just for a couple suitcases and that's it. Little luggage, groceries, nothing too crazy.
At best.
Exactly, at best. But otherwise, there's one more shot at it. You got your sound system right there, which is going to be JBL.
Let's have one in the rear, the bigger one.
Just like a typical BMW. You got 2 batteries in here. Nice, nice.
One in the front, one in the rear.
And I'll give you guys a sneak peek of the interior. Ta-da! All right, here's another shot of these wheels. On the front, stock, you're going to have 255s. And then on the rear, you're going to have 275s. So pretty thick, meaty tires. And the world is yours as far as customizing and doing what you want with it. These wheels, I mean, a lot of people go with TEs. I mean, there's really no wheel you can put on this car that's going to look ugly. And if you have an ugly wheel setup, tag me in the picture on Instagram. I want to see your Supras, because this is one of my favorite cars.
Another thing worth mentioning, so this was already on the car when I got it. These are wind buffeters by AMS. I was going to install it anyways if it wasn't already on. But one known issue with this car that's worth knowing before you get into it is that it does have an obnoxious wind buffeting issue when you're probably cruising around 40, 50 miles an hour. You'll have a lot of wind just slapping right in your face, and it's very loud, and it can affect the noise, you know, like if you're using Bluetooth or playing music in your car. So definitely invest into a nice, you know, wind buffeter system. They can range anywhere from $10 to $100. It's a nice little cosmetic piece, but the main function is just to buffet out that sound. So it's worth mentioning on that one.
And then since we're already popping the hood, we'll go ahead and talk about this beauty back here. So B58, like I said, if you're going to make the BMW jokes, go for it. It doesn't hurt my feelings, and I don't think it hurts any Supra owner's feelings at all. But Toyota, look at that. We all know the truth, but that's okay. This one does have some modifications, like I said, but for the most part, everything that you're seeing here is what it would generally look like stock. Just imagine that black. Use your imagination, folks. All right, so I'm going to have Randy talk about what is under the hood if you're curious and you see something. This way you can know what it is.
All right. So I took delivery of the vehicle less than a month ago. Already started modding. Relatively small. All I did was the MST V2. Difference between the V2 and the V1 is that the V2 now comes with the turbo inlets. So I got the turbo inlets done. I have the FTP charge pipe because obviously it's well known to be a weakening factor, especially if you up the boost. You're going to want to replace it with aluminum. So those aren't necessarily horsepower modifiers on these cars specifically. These are just more durable, so it doesn't crack. And this is more for sound. The cold air intake doesn't really add much, so if you're hoping to gain 10, 20 wheel, I mean, maybe when you get tuned, but it's not tuned. It does have a JB4 because the ECU is locked. The JB4 is probably the biggest horsepower adder that I have, along with the AA catted downpipe, 4.5 inch. It's catted, has a 200 cell, doesn't throw check engine lights, especially while it's not tuned. It's a good, middle ground downpipe essentially, and it will pass emissions. That will gain an easy 15, 20 wheel without a tune. That one has been proven to show results. JB4 is currently on a 93 custom map by Jesse De Beers, but I do have an E30 map as well. With these simple bolt-ons that I have, really just downpipe and JB4, those are the only 2 power mods that I have. I mean, it's looking anywhere from 460, 480 wheel right there. And if I put E40 blend, which is pretty much the highest that this car can do on the stock fuel system, unless you're officially tuned, you might see anywhere from 480 to 500 wheel. But again, that's with the custom Jesse De Beers map. He's the #1 guy with JB4, so give him a reach out and consider using him. I've tested map 1 and 2, big difference, and it's more linear, more stock feel, but it has higher boost up top end and then lower boost on lower end, especially boost by RPM. You can set it that way. But haven't had it long, not even a full month yet, and have more goals with the car. Like he said earlier, I want to do a pure 800 turbo upgrade, which is very easily accessible in this car. I don't know if you want to turn it over here. You can see all that clearance here. It's so easy to just do in your garage. The turbo's down right over there, and you can see the downpipe. So easy to work on. Did the stuff myself, and I don't normally do them myself, but it was real easy. For a inline 6, especially being a BMW engine, very easy to work on.
All right, and then let's continue with the tour. So if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get Randy or myself. We'll know the answer between the two of us. But look at these headlights. They're glorious. They're gorgeous. And unfortunately, Toyota did go with the fake vents, but they did that so that if you do want to do further modifications and increase airflow and coefficients of drags and decrease all that stuff, you can open those vents up later on if you so choose. And I have a feeling that those vents are going to be used on later Supra versions, and they're going to build these up and come up with, I don't know, higher horsepower, better performing Supras in the next couple years. Kind of how Dodge is doing special editions for their final run of the Challengers and Chargers. I have a feeling this car has a lot of plans that we haven't seen yet, and Toyota does a good job of keeping things a secret. So, you know, more to come. Love the fake vents if you want, or hate them. It doesn't really make a difference. The car looks good. So Randy just informed me actually that they do make functional vents for these that you can buy already. They're on the market. So news to me, and I'm glad that, you know, I have him here to teach me a lot more about this car than I thought I knew. And so if you are someone that's bothered by fake vents, hey, the aftermarket has you covered. And I'm sure Toyota did it for a reason, which we will find out one day. But even if we don't find out, it just works for this car. Look at the size of these headlights, though. It's probably the largest turn signals on a car ever. Look at the size of that. And when you turn on the turn signals, they turn amber, and it's just a giant turn signal. But they're sharp. All right, but that's all I have for you guys under the hood. Everything is pretty easy to get to, easy to work on, and from just a quick glance, I mean, it's built well. And so if you're upset again at the Toyota BMW partnership, this takes the Supra from a economy car. This takes the Supra from an economy car to something more upscale. It's somewhere on par with Lexus quality, craftsmanship, and you're getting entry-level luxury at Toyota pricing. And then as we're getting into the car, you're going to have keyless entry, which is expected at this day and age. Side mirrors do fold if you are someone that likes to do that. And then, yeah, that's it. So let's hop inside and I'll show you guys what you get inside the Supra. On the little door sills, you're going to say Toyota Supra. All right, it's kind of dark, so we're just going to have to make this work. But look at my headspace right here. I'm 5'9". The seat's a little bit raised up, but you could lower it down a little bit. And I mean, I'm 192 right now, so I'm sitting pretty snug in these seats right here. So if you're a wide person, and I don't mean that in a bad way, so please don't be upset, but if you're on the wider side, you got to be honest with yourself and think, you know, can I fit in this? Sit in one at a dealership, get a feel for it, because if you buy this and you are 6'2", 230 pounds, and you get in here and you order this car and you're disappointed, it's going to suck. It's really going to suck. But I'm comfortable. So if you're about my size, you're going to be great in here. It's still very much Japanese car in that way. So it just comes with the territory there. But there you're going to have your gauges, and they're going to be digital. But Toyota does this really cool thing so you can still see your tach, and it's pretty fun. You do have a head-up display, which is off right now. But otherwise, paddle shifters, normal controls that are all pretty self-explanatory, so nothing to dive into. And then as far as the center console, you do have push start over here. And then Randy's got this little heavy duty little Iron Man thing. Now you guys can see the display. Pretty nice though. It's got just enough information without being overkill.
And then your center console, is this all touchscreen, close message, engine compartments open. So this is all touchscreen, very responsive. It's got Apple CarPlay, but unfortunately no stock Android Auto. There are ways around that, which if you watch the driving video, you'll hear Randy talk about that. So the good thing with having this BMW system is like you can go into my vehicle, and people say that these cars are hard to maintain and take care of, but the cool thing is if you go into vehicle status, it'll show you all sorts of information. You can even check to see how long until your oil change. You can go in here and it'll do a check control. It'll let you know if you have any faults, errors, anything like that. You can find it all in there. Every time you start up the car, it'll tell you your engine oil's good, brake fluid's good, all of that. Tell you when your next service is due. So all of that is great to have, I mean, honestly. And check out this gas mileage Randy's getting right there, 23.9 average. Something else to point out is if you go into the vehicle settings, this is where you'll see Toyota Supra safety. This is one of the few things that are specifically just Toyota. And so this is all the safety features. You're gonna have front collision warning, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring. So all the modern safety tech, and they work really great, but a lot of people, you know, with cars like this don't like this technology. They like to keep everything old school and turn it all off. So that's perfectly fine. Steering wheel vibration, this will vibrate to let you know if you're drifting out of your lane. And then one step down, you go to configure sport individual. This is if the car already comes with pre-programmed drive modes, but if you wanted to, let's say you enjoy your damping, which is your suspension, you want that in comfort, but you like having your steering wheel with the sporty feel or the Sport Plus feel, you can customize all of this. Instead of having it all sporty, all efficient, all eco, you can do a mix and match. So it gives you that individual mode, which is exactly what it is. And so you're able to go in here and, you know, make it yours. And then another thing, this is very BMW, but something that a lot of the German manufacturers do now, this temperature adjustment. So if you set your climate control, let's say you set it to 69 degrees, haha, you can go ahead and fine tune that. So let's say you want the air out of the vents to actually blow warmer than it is colder, but still keep the car 69 degrees, you could go ahead and change that. So that's all that is. So the air coming out of the actual vents doesn't feel as cold, even if you have air conditioning on. You even got vehicle tracking on here, which is nice. You can locate the car online, but otherwise those are all the features in here. And then down here, you're gonna have these little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buttons. And these buttons are pretty cool because what they allow you to do is program shortcuts. And if you slide your fingers over them, they'll go ahead and they'll show you whatever the shortcut is. So right now 7 is your vehicle status. So if you click that, Randy's got that set up to where it'll just go straight to this. And then his number 8 shows your performance gauges or your sport displays. So you can give it a little rev and it'll show you your power and torque. I mean, it's all for show, but it's still nice to have. So you can set these shortcuts to anything that you like. And if you ever forget, well, it'll remind you. You got dual climate control, heated seats, all of that self-explanatory. Down here, you're gonna have a wireless charging pad. Your shifter's straight from a BMW, but it's really easy to use. It's got this little unlock button on the side, so you press that down whenever you wanna shift. And otherwise, once it's unlocked, you can go ahead and give it a flick back and forth without having to press the unlock every time. Park is just a simple tap of a button, and then you're good. This is your iDrive controller, so if you don't like the touchscreen, you can do everything from this little drive button, which I love. And the cool thing about it is, let's say you go into map. So let's say you're here and you want to use this iDrive controller. What you do is you can just scroll to the letters or use your voice, or if you want, you can draw things.
H.
And then it'll find that address. So pretty cool.
H. E. L. L.
This sport button is gigantic for no reason, but if you press that, this is one of the pre-program modes, is just switching everything to sport. But once you press it, it'll allow you to go into Sport Plus if you want to press that, or individual. Sorry about the focus there. And then if you wanted to configure it, you can do it all from here. Hit configure, and then now you're able to do it all from there. So there's a couple ways to get to the same thing, and BMW makes sure nothing takes more than like 2 clicks. Then down here you got an electronic parking brake. Unfortunately, some people are probably disappointed with that, but that's okay. Right here is actually your stop start. I meant to say your traction control is right there, and then there's a button for your safety systems. Give that a little tap, and you can customize them or just leave them all on. So pretty easy. All off is right there. So Toyota, BMW aren't worried about you. If you don't really want to use them, you don't have to, but if you die, you die. You do get 2 cup holders here, but there's no center console. You can't pop this open
And, you know, unfortunately no center console storage,
is
but you do
tiny.
get a little cubby back there. And then in the back you get this little cover to hide your important stuff. So it's kind of like a tonneau cover, but for sports cars. And then under here is just more storage, so you can get to everything in the back. And you got your speakers right there, which Randy was saying that the bass on this isn't the best. And it's because what Toyota did to save weight is this is actually hollow, along with using aluminum hood and aluminum bumper braces. They've done a lot of things to cut weight, even using a special kind of carpet, which, I mean, you can't tell, but they were going so far as to save grams, just grams, by switching out the carpet fibers to low weight carpet. Come on, look at that. So the benefit of going with the 3.0 Premium versus the 3.0 Base is you're going to get this 12 speaker JBL sound system, which it bumps. One other thing I forgot to mention is, look at this small little mesh compartment they give you right here. It's only big enough to put some work gloves, but maybe some documents. I don't know. It's pretty interesting though.
This is pretty small.
Oh, you got some
Very
like
small
glove box.
room, but,
That is
yeah.
snug. Yeah, there's no room for love in there. And just like that, you've seen what you get when you purchase a 2021-2020 Toyota Supra. You know, other than the horsepower difference, there's not a whole lot of major changes, even with the 2022 model year. So other than adding the manual, so we'll see some changes through the life cycle of the Supra, but otherwise, I think this is pretty great bang for your buck. And I think that the Supra does an awesome job of doing what a true sports car is supposed to do. Like I said, it is snug in here. You got no back seats, but that's fine. That's not what this is about. It handles amazingly, and on top of that, the brakes are amazing. So this on the track does exactly what it's supposed to do. And when it comes to building this to be 1,000 horsepower or even 800 horsepower, it can do that. So Toyota has done exactly what they set out to do with the Supra. And unfortunately, I know that the BMW slander comes at a cost, but it's not really affecting anything. The Toyota Supra is doing well, and people love the Supra. And once you get past that whole it's fun to hate on BMW, you realize how great that this truly is. So like I said, thank you guys for checking out yet another video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, be sure to drop them on this one, and just wait for the driving experience video to be uploaded shortly after this one. And yeah, otherwise this was just a quick little walk around of the Toyota Supra, explaining the human creature comforts that you get in a sports car nowadays. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.